All right, here we go. What was I drawing Kirby for? No recollection. Oh well. Alright. Let's do it. Let's get streamy. My favorite peep. My favorite peep. My mod. Good evening, man. How you holding up? How'd that go? I mean, I hope she's okay. She's, Ooh, True Detective. Which season? I haven't seen any of them, but I know they're all good. She's fine, yeah. She's fine. She just, you know, whenever she has anything to complain about, she knows we'll listen. Season 1's supposed to be the best. I remember my friends couldn't shut up about that. I don't want to get left in the dust, but I gotta say, I'll catch up on that one in my next life. This one's gonna be my favorite. So it's earlier today. It was earlier today. It was like 4 a.m. I got up and I did this one. So I've been keeping busy with these. And while I'd love to just riff on new sketches that are as cool as these ones. Thank you. I'm trying not to rush it, but if I don't step on the gas a little, I'll never get anywhere, right? If I take the time to make the line art good, the rest of it will become like no-brainer easiness. Pretty sure about that, just from my own experience. But it does take time. You can't skip any steps with the line art. Everything has to make sense here, because if it doesn't, it's not going to make sense when I add lighting, you know. It's hard to get into groove without my normal booze. I'm drinking ginger beer. It's not the same. Gonna be my animated self. But... John, in this image, he is doing a dab. It's hard to see. Is that what it's called? It's like, what's this? You know, this thing? But the, it's cringe when I do it, but, no, imagine Link here. He's not really doing a dab because he's got his shield in his hand, but his other hand is doing this upward thrust with the Master Sword. So he's sort of like dodging and doing a cool no-look slice, upward slice. Having like severed the head of Discaliac. with that slice. So the other head. The severed head goes flying over here, crashing, snorting fire. It'll be dope. And then there's the third head that's already defeated, and it's like dead over here. Only because I know it can't be that easy to tell what's going on. And then this head is still attached. This is the last head. It's still attached. So he's 2/3 of the way done. Anyway, all that is in here. But now I have to make it look a little good. And I've got no details in here to help me. This is tough. It's like I have to like crank my head slightly easier looking this way. Let's just wing it. Going to be a little bit of trial and error with how I figure out the rotation of the arm in its socket here. Like, because this, or something in between. And I want it to purposefully kind of like read like a graphic, like kind of cool. Unorthodox finishing move, like when those samurai, like they're still and then they charge each other and they do like one slice and then like they're paused again and then like the other guy falls apart into two pieces and the other guy's still where he is. If anybody's ever seen the Kurosawa films, I think they do that. I saw all those when I was a kid with my father. I don't remember them very well except for ridiculous amounts of blood spurting out of samurai. But it was much the same in the Usagi comics. which my dad also got for me. So it was very cultured. Tempting to minimize the little dress flap on Link, but I don't think that is wise overall, so still needs to be interesting no matter what, so I just want to make it look like there's forces at work here, like his movement and the movement of like airflow catching it. We can see some link buns. He does wear pants. At least I've decided for the... I hope it's not too controversial. The panted link has its detractors, I'm sure, but you know. That's another stream. That's another Twitch channel. On the fly, making decisions about, you know, is the leg pointed this way? Or is the leg coming at us more like this? I think almost it's like this. You can't really tell very well. But this boot, pretty darn sure kind of have that structure. A little bit more thickness. Here, let's save our work since it's not looking half bad. I'm not fully convinced I nailed this pose, but I'm not freaking out about it just yet, so and in any case, it's like everything's temporary till you sleep on it. Yeah, assuming you have the luxury of time. But you know, it's a drawing. It's not a life sentence. It might feel different about it later, and we make an adjustment. It's happened many times. Do you do the rest of the frame to the same detail line art, or only specific or the focal points characters? So yes, but in an order. See, it's interesting to do this, to apply like my system to a project like this, because it doesn't exactly scale perfectly well. And it's hard to explain without like showing you like the process of how I would do a normal storyboard and stuff like that. But basically, my process is always hedging towards front loading the most important stuff, because as often as not, a time crunch will be thrust upon you unannounced. So if you if you made sure that while there was plenty of time, all the important stuff was looking good, then it's actually not really that big of a deal if they say, hey, what we needed, you know, what we told you we could have tomorrow, we actually need end of day kind of a thing. Good stuff is already drawn. It's drawn well, and, you know, almost everything else can be rushed, like backgrounds and, you know, it doesn't actually have to look much better than this. In fact, it's like if I had to, you know, just draw a couple things in detail and actually leave the rest as like these sketchy, you know, sketch, the sketch art that's, you know, existing already, that would actually look pretty good. So I don't know if that's answering your question, but the what will happen is Link will have this line art. Other important characters like Zelda and Princess Ruto and, you know, the bosses will have this sort of, for the most part, pretty clear line art. But then as it gets into like the secondary and tertiary subject matters, like, oh, there's a tree over there, or there's like a sculpture over there, or like there's a doorway over there, like that stuff gets rushed, and I mean rushed, so that it's like almost impressionistic at the end. So no, like I'm not gonna go in there, like when it comes to like am I gonna draw like this fire like this kind of a thing, and you know, that would be cool, but again, like that's just asking for like that looks pretty cool actually. Maybe I should do that. But the but that's slower than just doing a quick hack slash, and look how arrested that looks. You know, it looks like two-dimensional cartoon form. Yeah, sorry, it's like when I try to suck, I don't suck. But the you know, the I want to make sure that like I'm not spending more time on stuff that just you get diminishing returns, you know, like you don't need to draw every blade of grass, you know, stuff like that. That stuff can just be like texture. I'm gonna keep that flame though. No, it's part of it's canon. That was pretty funny. But it's a fun question. But like right now, it's like things are moving like at a glacial pace for a couple of reasons. One thing is I'm working at twice the resolution that I would normally work at. In my normal job, I don't draw more information than is necessary ever. If I can get away with it, there's just no time. And so like I purposely work at the lowest resolution I can, which is 1280 by 720. It's the, like, you know, that's standard high def. Even though it feels like, oh, it's like nothing. That's the minimal, but it's high def, you know, and it looks good. Even when you scale it up, kind of a thing. But and I can get away with, you know, doing simpler drawings, you know, at that scale. But you start blowing things up, and it's like, damn, look at all these pixels. I gotta fill that up with detail. I can't help it. I haven't figured out a way to not have to do that yet, but okay. So here's the. I mean, is this reading like any kind of like dab kind of sort of like a trying to give like a sense of Link just doing this badass like finishing move, even though there's still another head to slice. I just figured it would be really cool to see this, like compositionally, like all the dynamism, but then the like the thrust is like that. Ooh, slice. I'm just hoping it will look cool in the end. I think it will. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. It's looking decent. Okay, so this is a different kind of vibe right here. Link and the Cursed Fairy. sort of deformed, you know, she's not deformed, she's just thick, you know, a little pleasantly plump, got a lot going on. But memorable, you know. But here I've got Link completely faced in a direction, like away from camera, which I've not drawn him at. So this will be a little funny to figure out. I want him to sort of look a bit haggard. I've got him somewhat unconvincingly in this sketch, but he's sort of leaning for support on this nearby rock, sort of jutting out from this pool. You know, he's going to be like soaking wet. I hope to give a convincing sense of him being, I don't know, like close to death. And my point is, like, when he gets to these fairies, he's like in need of help, kind of a thing. He's got a problem. There's the solution. Sort of feels like a story. But the original pose I drew is just what is that? I'm like, okay, well, I was drunk when I did that one, but I like it, so let's figure it out. Oop. Did I just do? Okay. John, to sort of add a little color to your, or I should say boxer, the your earlier question, the this phase is the slowest phase. The first pass of the thing, of the most important thing, is the slowest phase, just out of necessity, because I have to match consistency and continuity. Like, it has to be like the same Link basically throughout the whole thing. Whereas later on, when I do my second pass, like, you know, I can draw the cursed fairy any way that I want to. She doesn't have to correspond to any other drawing in the sequence, because it's just like this isolated incident. Same way with all these other guys, you know. And then it's like, once each boss is drawn, well, then what's left? Just a little bit of background, you know. I'm just going to indicate that maybe with like some very minimal line art. And then it's just straight on to like the finished stuff, you know, adding the, I'll separate out all the, like, basically create like selections would be like a common way of describing it, you know, basically sectioning out like discrete areas that can be colored, not colored, but shaded. And tone and value can be added to those non-destructively, which will be helpful as we sort of experiment with what looks best, because I'm not a super shading genius. And I'll make a lot of mistakes, so Just a good way to edge against that. And what's happening here, that's sort of a struggle, is I've skipped a step, basically. I didn't do any... I was hoping I could just fudge it, because so much of this pose is a bit fudgy. You know, but I'm wondering, am I really going to be able to get away with that? Oh, good. I mean, I like it too. It's different. I think this is like one of those kinds of characters that can kind of like separate out. Like you can get a feel of like where the tone of this project is compared to like, you know, it's like this isn't, you know, this is like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like rated R, but it's you know, this scene might traumatize some children, you know? You gotta be careful. Did you ever see that old film, The Last Unicorn? Which is a cartoon. It was a sort of a cult classic of the 80s. I think it was from the 80s. I need to do something about this. Okay. Shame on me for skipping steps, but the, no. Thought I could get away with it, but I need to actually determine what's happening here before I just start inking it like it doesn't matter to me. Because if this project didn't matter to me, I would just fuck it. Say fuck it and do it. But I really want to get a performance out of here, even if it's subtle. Okay. Need more bend in that leg. This leg can come back. Leaning forward, making sure all that is clear. The head tilting up. More like that, maybe. This hand is like that. What if... just for the sake of interest, this leg is a little bit more climbing out. It could even be much smaller too. Kind of makes it interesting. I do like the idea of like a surprising scale. Being possible. I think if I just indicate that he's holding himself. Yeah, that's interesting. Now this leg has to go the other way. Maybe it goes like that. Let's try it like that, because I feel like this would be better. Definitely want to have a mixed variety of angles. With a lot of these, it's like Link is kind of like right up here, right in our faces. And it's cool because it's dynamic and we can see a lot of him and stuff like that. But like in all of these drawings, this one, you know, it's a little too close for comfort. In these three, you know, and maybe I shouldn't put them grouped like that. I could spread them out more, but I do think it's good to have something that shows that he can be small in a big space or far away from camera. And in any case, this is looking more like it's got something to say as a concept right now, as opposed to her being there and him just sort of being there, kind of a thing. Did he have his sword? Shield? No. Yeah, I'm okay if he actually is weaponless here. Like, purposefully. It's a vulnerable moment. Ooh, you know what I like as a thought is he has taken off his boots as well. That also seems very vulnerable. Just something to give the viewer something to be like, oh, that's different. You know, I want him to be consistently, you know, Link in each frame, but we can tell a story in the differences as well as the similarities. I've got a dry I don't know if I'm... I feel like it's like asthma or allergies or something. Big globs of condensation falling on my stylus. Okay, here's another wide one. This is exciting. We're in the home stretch here. How many more to go? One, because this is a... Oops. That's just Ganon. No Link there. Tiny Link here. That'll be easy. 2 Links. 3, 4, 5, 6, and while this one will be challenging, I think. I'm a little dubious that I've got it all figured out. I'm looking at these arms. I'm not sure if not sure what's happening with this arm here. But pretty sure this one is gonna work. And I know this one will. And this one just looks like it's gonna be fun and easy. This one is challenging, but should still be good. Jesus. I'm looking at this now and I'm like, I can make that work, but yeah, maybe not the way I drew it. Yeah. Alright, so this is a cool moment. Link finds the Master Sword. One of the problems I'll face here is I really like this rough sketch. And when you have the drawing like already looking good and you have to reproduce it or do it better, capture lightning in a bottle twice. What this other sword should look like. It probably should just look lame, but you know, I remember all sorts of different swords from the art that they had. In any case, he just sort of discards it here, which is sort of funny. Amazing. Kind of like that. All right. Let's do one more. I'm getting there. If tomorrow was a quiet day, I can probably plow through the rest of them too. And then, like I said, that's then we're done with the slowest part. The rest of the stuff, no one really knows what this giant caterpillar thing is supposed to look like. So I can just draw it however I want to. Not make it look bad, of course, but the, you know, it's not going to be judged harshly if there are imperfections. This is Link getting his, I guess, the discarded sword. You know, he picks up swords along the way. It's not like it's the... Kind of like him looking a little bit more... In the beginning, he's not as battle hardened, so he can... Maybe his hair is a little more shiny, you know, kind of like the beginning of The Hobbit, where all the hobbits looked clean and nice, you know, and then later on, all their lips are chapped and they've covered in dirt and shit. Yeah, a little bit of the like Shire curls, whatever they put in that Shire shampoo. Looking kind of badass here. Very faucet conditioner. Now I'm gonna pull up a... We need that. We need more of that poster in our lives. Looks like there's two kind of images. Well, this is the one I know of, and this one's probably AI. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, it's like he doesn't have all the moblin blood stuck to his split ends at this point. You know, and his hat is very still got plenty of starch in it, you know, sort of sits up like that. looks like I've got his whole chest rotated this way. Now it's time to make sure I want that. Would it be better if it... switch it up at the last second? Does seem a little bit more defensive. Might require me switching the leg positions. Because if this shoulder is higher than the other one, then his weight needs to be on our leg. So the leg closest to us needs to be low. Our leg can be higher and have more weight on it. And I do like, see the uncle here, his shoulder here is lower than this one. So I like the idea of Link's shoulder here being higher than the far one. So it's kind of got this seesaw kind of thing. So yeah, I've decided that's what I want now. I think. Not that this looks bad. But I want to try it this new way. This arm still goes out to comfort and touch his uncle. So that's happening like that. But yeah, so this shoulder is lower than this shoulder, which is the opposite of the uncle now. So previously, they were both sort of tilting towards camera. And now I'm deciding that I like this better. Just roughing out. Now the sword can stay in the same position. So most of the drawing is the same. But it's a subtle change that I like. Yeah, and that means his body's decidedly going. His torso is pointed this way, away from camera. But his head is coming around back towards this way. So there's tension. What the thinking was when I gave him this cowl, this cape. Sort of like it's another hobbity kind of thing to have. I'm not sure if I like it anymore. Yeah, okay. Leave the lantern, but maybe he doesn't need to have any of his usual pouches that I draw. Like those will come later. He hasn't equipped those yet. Big ass He-Man legs here. Maybe I moved the lantern just a bit as well. less lungy. Yeah. Less lungy. Too lungy. There we go. Yeah. He's sort of turning around, wheeling about. This leg, farther from camera, firmly planted, even though it's underwater. In case that's not clear, it's like at least ankle deep in like this sewer. And then this other leg is starting to come up as he's wheeling around. That's not that bad. Let's test it. Flopping it around. Yeah, this can work. I think the proportions look a little too heroic. I guess just too, in relation to his head, too big. No, I'm wondering if I didn't prefer the original. I could always draw it both ways and just see, but tricky stuff sometimes. This was a job I was on. I'd never have enough time. This is the problem with not having a specific deadline is I'm enabled to make second guesses. Okay, one thing that isn't helping is curve happening here. Needs to be a little bit more neutral, if not completely going the other way. Yeah, this needs to be higher. If that's his waist. This might be picking it up too much. Just have it extended. Getting fucking Stuck on this, man. Process of elimination. Just try everything. Come all the way back to the lunge. That'd be funny. First time chat. I promised myself I'd have a like an alarm or like a gong or something. I would make it a gimmick and welcome a first time chatter. Hello. Now you're here to inspire me to try and do better. Have you been watching long? And you can just ignore me and lurk if you like. It really, you have no obligation to engage. This looks super cool already. Were you watching me suffer? You just popped in? Have you seen my stream before? Now that you're here, I'm gonna do a good sketch. Let's do something other than embarrass myself. Thank you for browsing my stream. Are you perhaps a Zelda fan? It's okay if you're not. Okay, cool. Good. You should browse my stream again sometime in the future. So you haven't seen any of my stuff yet? Let me show you something cool. I'm doing spec artwork for you know, if you're a Zelda fan, you probably have heard of the Zelda movie that got announced or whatever. So I've been spending the past few weeks. I started in late 2023, but I've been working on doing concept sketches as like a spec art. The spec meaning speculative. I'm a professional storyboard artist for like commercials and video game trailers and stuff like that. And so this is like you'll recognize as a Zelda fan, like, you know, some iconic moments. And a lot of this stuff is of my own devising. There's Ganon, you know, kind of cool stuff. And my thought was to, you know, as a means to occupy my means to occupy downtime and work towards you know, what could be like a fun goal, even though it's like the longest long shot that like developing you know, because it's like normally I work on projects I get hired on, and then, you know, no one's paying me for this kind of a thing. So this is a rare bit of work that I'm just doing out of my own personal interest. And I'm using sort of the Twitch as a sort of an accountability tool to make sure that I'm sort of documenting the process, if nothing else. Because I'm drawing this all from scratch. There's no AI. There's no with the exception of, like, for instance, you see this reference material. The reference material of the like, this is a pre-existing Link design that I'm basically matching for the sake of consistency in the project, but this is not beyond that. Like, I'm trying to basically design everything from scratch so that it's not a it feels like I'm coming up with original ideas and my own artwork that I can be proud of. So what I'm drawing right now is Link getting, it's like a moment in A Link to the Past where he gets the first sword from his uncle. If you've ever played A Link to the Past, which is something more from my childhood, or, you know, my teenage years than maybe everybody else's. Yeah, Boxer, we got a new first-time chatter. Sometimes the streams can be quiet, and sometimes they can be quite chatty. But Boxer is my mod, and happens to be my brother. But his streams are cool too. If you ever want to check out his stuff, you should follow both of us, so that I can reach my milestones and gain more traction and engagement. But that isn't as important. If you actually do like Zelda stuff, just come check it out sometime. If there's any other lurkers who felt like chiming in, feel free to do so. It's not that crucial. I have no ego. That's not true. But just so everybody knows, I don't plan on going too much past midnight. So I'm going to see if I can finish up this sketch, or at least get it into a spot where I feel like this is a good place to stop. And hopefully I'll be done when that happens, but we're in the last moments anyway, so it's nice to have someone check out the stream, because you almost missed it. But I'm working on doing these more regularly, but at the moment it's been difficult to make it consistent at any specific time. Sometimes I just have to do, you know, I have a day job basically, so I have to do this when time permits. That's right. Draw a straight sword without picking it up. It's not so bad. Could it look like that? I don't like using rulers, so if I can just draw it perfectly, that would be nice. Oh, there you go. Anyway, the goal is that in the not too far future, I'll have if nothing else, a portfolio of Zelda drawings, and if I can't get staffed on the movie, which I admittedly is a long shot, then maybe I could get staffed on a project that is going to rip off the Zelda film, because for every film that comes out, there are a dozen rip-offs that come out at or before or directly afterwards, and try to do the same thing. I mean, with rare exception, it's like a Hollywood formula. It's like, I mean, like Boss Baby comes out and like Storks comes out the same like month. And do you remember how, like, this is dating me a bit, but like Bug's Life, that Pixar film, came out, and Ants, the DreamWorks version also of Ants, you know, it's like Ants and Ants, two never before seen animated films about the same fucking thing. You know, it's like, what? So yeah, it's like, okay, well, you know, I might have missed the Zelda boat, but I can get on the whatever, you know, they'll be greenlighting. If Zelda is successful, they'll be greenlighting sequels or, you know, spin-offs or whatever. How do you like Fruity Loo? I mean, it's a cute name. If you are on Instagram, you can, because I'll periodically post updates like, hey, here's the sketch I did, and there's this, and I feel cringe plugging this stuff, but I have a Discord as well that if Boxer has a link, he can post it. Unless it's pinned at the top of the chat. Well, it should be. Anyway, it's if any of this intrigues you, there's lots more to come. So that's the message. That's the takeaway. One thing I will apologize for is when I draw, I usually draw small. And so, like, you know, I'm drawing it back out here, but it's probably more interesting if I draw much closer up so you guys can actually see it. But it's not easier for me that way, so. Oh, you're so nice. You'll be my first. You'll notice that the following on that is pretty sparse. It's more or less a soft launch. The whole project is. You know, in addition to, you know, I'm not sure exactly what my big game plan is right now, but the entertainment industry is not in a particularly wholesome. I don't know if wholesome's the right word. It's just not. There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of stalling in terms of like projects just aren't getting greenlit the way they could or should or would have been in the past. Just at the moment, you know, there's that big explosion of content and, you know, demand for all sorts of new streaming stuff. All of that sort of has fallen away now. And while I work primarily in advertising, so I'm a little bit insulated from those issues. It's still kind of dead out there, even in my circles. And I don't mean dead like, you know, jobs come in, but, you know, not big ones, and, you know, they don't stick around for long enough for me to, and not in the abundance where they're back to back and overlapped and stuff like that, like they used to be last year. Well, you know, for some it's been a long time. For me, things sort of dropped off in November, which is when I decided to start this project to help keep me sane, so I can feel like I'm doing something instead of just waiting for the phone to ring. And this is basically looking okay. I don't know if I'll love that sword in the morning or this boot, but but I feel like this is doing pretty decent. And I do appreciate you following me. I'm gonna call it a night in a second. Let's see if this is a cool song. I might hang on just a little bit longer. It is a cool song, but it's tolling for my bedtime. The soundtrack that I use for this, if you're curious, is the Zelda and Chill playlist, which so far has not given me any issue with the copyright stuff. So knock wood that continues, because it's kind of my anthem at this point. Yeah. All right, so here's the strategy for the rest of the near future is I'm going to go through these other sketches. Here, I'll turn off. Okay, so you can see the This was the original sketch. And you can see his pose was different. Not radically different, but... The Great Fairy Fountain theme keeps getting muted in my VODs when I play it. Haha. But it's good enough to be worth it. Ah. A lot of the, like, Ocarina of Time, if that's what you're talking about, music, like the official music, is like strictly DMCA or whatever. There's something I've run into trying to play a lot of the original game music on my stuff. So yeah, I mean, I showed you this stuff before, but what I'm gonna do is go through and draw all the links first, so that they're consistent throughout, and then I'll go in and I'll draw the bad guys, and I'll draw the with a little bit more rapidity. You know, some of these cool monsters. A lot of these are like old school Zelda monsters. Like this is like the Manhandla, which is like some obscure Zelda 1 thing, but you know, but I had a moment's inspiration and made it cool, and now I love it. So it's like, you know, we'll spend a lot of time with a lot of these, and so you know, come and visit again. You'll see the updates. You don't have to. This is a track that I love. You don't have to be here for all of it in order to enjoy it. Here's a little kid Link in a cemetery. We'll do. All right, good stuff. I love getting a lot of my followers come from Boxer streams, because he streams and, you know, has encouraged people to follow me too. But I like the organic, you know, the stumble-upons are very important to me too. And I'm glad you're a Zelda fan. It's better that way. And especially, you know, you might be, you know, an artist or a person who appreciates art, or at least human-made art, hopefully. And what we're trying to showcase here. So, all right, well, yeah, good enough. It's past midnight. I'm gonna call it a night, and bid everyone adieu. Fruity Lou, thank you for thank you for supporting Real Humans. Good night. Good night to any other lurkers, you know, if you are there, but it's okay if you're not. And I will see you next time. Hopefully tomorrow, but I can't be perfectly consistent, unfortunately. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Signing off.